Hello everyone and welcome to This Day. Today is Wednesday, September 13th and I'm Bobby Higgins. Coming up, we have Energized Health with John and Chelsea Jubilee. You've heard their backstory, but now you're going to learn how their patent pending protocol can help you to improve and possibly even reverse certain health conditions. And after Energized Health, we'll be joined by Latifa with Concerned Citizens, and she's going to inform us on how Poems for Peace got started and also tell us about their upcoming Peace Day event. Let's take a look at our Stay Informed for today. The Golden Rain Foundation is calling for candidates. All interested village members can submit their candidate applications for the 2023 annual election. The board seeks to fill 3 seats with terms ending in 3 years. Interested members may obtain an application and election process instructions at the office of the CEO located in the community center. Give Michaela or Paul a call with any questions. Applications must be submitted by September 19th. Good luck, applicants. And now taking a look at our weather, it's a little bit cloudy out there still this morning, but we will have sunshine this afternoon. It'll be a high of 77 and a low of 62. The marine layer will continue all week. Thursday should be mostly sunny after the fog clears with a high of 77 and a low of 59. Friday should be sunny after morning clouds with a high of 76 and low of 61. And the weekend looks to continue the same pattern of fog and clouds in the morning and then sunny with temperatures in the low to mid 70s. And taking a look at our sunrise and sunset, we have a beautiful bird of paradise picture from Alan Clark taken here in the village. Our sunrise this morning was at 6:33 a.m. and tonight the sunset at 7 p.m. If you would like to have your photos highlighted here on This Day, please email them to us and we would love to put them up on the show. You can email them to us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Stay with us because up next after the break we will have Energized Health, but first let's take a look at today's meetings.
The health that you want to have? If your answer is no, this is for you.
There's a lot of false hope for sale. Diets, supplements, medication, and they all work for a minute. But the root cause of most health challenges is chronic dehydrations, and you can reverse it with this breakthrough science. To super spike your metabolism, optimize your organs, and give you back the vitality and energy that you truly desire.
From 211 pounds to 174 pounds. Your system is so doable and it works.
Getting hydrated at the cellular level can cause you to be the healthiest you've ever been. Log on to our website, energizedhealth.com, and watch documented testimonials, many of them by medical doctors.
I feel like I owe you my life. I'm taking no diabetes medicine.
So log on to our website at energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com.
Welcome back to This Day. Joining me now is the powerhouse team from Energized Health, John and Chelsea Jubilee. Thank you so much for being here. I understand your motto is changing the world one person at a time, starting with the most important person, you.
You, that's right. That's right.
Who came up with that motto? I love that.
Well, the reason we came up with that is because so many people, especially moms, right? Especially the moms, always taking care of everyone else. But if you don't take care of yourself first, then you're not going to be around to take care of anyone else. So we want people to really focus on, when it comes to their health, you have to take care of yourself first.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited to hear about what you guys have discovered, what you have created that can help improve people's with certain health conditions. And but before we get into all what Energized Health is all about, I kind of wanted to know about your guys' background and how this all came about to be created. And so John, tell me a little bit about your background and how it played a role, into where you are today.
Well, It actually started when I was a little boy. I had a little sister that was born severely crippled. And so all my life I was a caretaker, helping my little sister through all of her surgeries and all the care. It took a lot of extra care and a lot of physical therapy and things that she went through. And there was so much trauma in her life and so much struggle. And so even though initially I started in banking, that it just put a place in my heart. I wanted people to always be well and to be healthy. And I saw the struggle that was. And so to make it as short as I can, I had a great success in banking and was managing a couple hundred bank branches when I was 35 years old. I don't claim to be a smart guy, but I'm a gifted guy. And so I kind of have that Elon Musk thing. I tested out of 10 years of college math and a photographic memory. But I went and did a bunch of research when I had my own health issues. I was bone on bone in both my knees. I mean, every step of my life was a step of pain from playing sports when I was younger. I had hypertension, I had high blood pressure. And so I developed this scientific protocol. It's the only patent pending science in the world of intracellular hydration. But the real heart that got me into this full time really started with my little sister. Then when I changed my own pain, I realized nothing's more important in this world. Not money, not fame, not fortune, nothing than health. Yeah. And so that was my real heart, to help people to get well.
Yeah, and people say that all the time. Oh, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. But it's not until something goes wrong with your health that you really realize like how devastating and how much that can just change and affect your life. Yes. So it's great that you created this or discovered this 27 years ago?
27 years, yeah.
That is wonderful. And so tell me, Chelsea, tell me about your background. And I understand you've had some incredible challenges that you have overcome as well that, has brought you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I basically, just short, because not a long show here, but in short, yeah, I had experienced a lot of trauma growing up, lots of different types of abuse growing up, and the older I got, the more I recognized that it really influenced my decision making and things that, choices and things that I was making in my own life. So I actually was in banking, so John and I share that in common. For 15 years, and I actually gave my career up to go full-time in studying and becoming an expert in what we kind of coined a term called cellular trauma. And what cellular trauma is it's the science of how the trauma that we go through, even as children, adults, actually gets trapped inside of our cells. And so that's part of our protocol. We help to literally heal that and have that be dispersed outside of the cell. And it does play a huge impact on every area of your life, your decision making, your mindset, your health. There's a huge, huge study that they've done on cellular trauma and what it does to your overall health. And the biggest thing too is I grew up as an athlete. So I went to state for track. I was one of the kids in school that was very naturally gifted, but I worked really hard at, making sure I was eating well and drinking enough, and I knew because I studied early, and my mom she was very into nutrition. And the older I got, the more I recognized how blessed I was to really truly have that, because with what we do, we can really learn and see most people don't even know how to read a nutritional label on a box. They don't know ingredients, how they come first if they're up top. So there's a lot that I learned really young that most people don't know. And so John and I have a passion to really educate and help people along their journey of becoming healthy in every area of their life. And we met at an entrepreneurial event, and I actually asked him, because I was going there seeking information from a really big person that was in health and wellness at the time. And I was like, after talking to him, I'm like, that's not really what I was seeking. And I just so happened to meet John, and we stayed up till like 4 o'clock in the morning talking about health and all this stuff, and we fell in love. And so when we got married, John had this amazing intracellular hydration protocol, and I had a lot of cellular health background. And so not only did we get married, but we kind of married what our passions were, and that formed Energized Health.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So I have to know, the first day you met, you said you were up speaking all night long. Did you know, was there an attraction there, or was it just the common interest? What was it? The explosion?
You want to
Did
answer
know?
that?
I will.
Was it love at first sight?
I will. No, for me, it was love at first sight. I was like, I'm marrying that girl. I'm marrying that girl.
Yeah, and I was so, into my studies and what I was doing. I literally told him, I said, I'm not interested in dating right now. So it's funny though, because we literally, we fell in love on the phone because John was traveling and speaking a lot back then for, intracellular hydration. And he even had, a special spot put in for him at the Economic Chamber of the United Nations for the science. And so he was on the road a lot. And we kind of fell in love on the phone, just getting to know each other. And so it was, and then, I was like, okay, he's a really good man, huge heart. He will go through, I've seen this man go through great lengths to help anybody. And so I'm like, he's a really good man. This would make a good husband. So we decided, to get married. And so we've been, happily married, and we love what we do. We get to help thousands of people. It's the joy of our life.
And 3 children now as well.
Yes, we have twin boys and a daughter.
That's wonderful. Sounds like a great duo dynamic. You guys are so just incredibly energetic in person. This is also interesting. So so you're both in banking. You're now dating. How did you go, we're going to leave this career and come start this? I understand you already had started it, but what was the catalyst, or how did you do that?
Yeah, well, the catalyst was, I'm not going to name drop who this person is, but everyone watching would know who it is. He has an audience of more than 12 million viewers. But I used to have a meeting in his office every Friday morning with a group of really high-level guys. And one day he just sat me down, just knee to knee, toe to toe, pointing his finger in my face. He said, "John Jubilee, you have to go full-time in health and wellness. You're going to change the world." And he has a huge staff, about almost 1,000 people. And he said, "I'm going to give you my whole staff for free to build your business plan. No one in the world knows what you know." And to me, I felt like that was like a mandate from God, to take on this mission. And so I did. I walked away from a very big life and a lot of success in my previous career. But nothing is as joyful as helping people get off their medication, get pain out of their body, get back their life, get back the joy of their life.
Mm-hmm. And basically the intracellular health, explain what it is. How do you help people? What are some of the things that you can do to help people with?
Yeah, so literally any medical condition that a person has, in my experience of 27 years, is reversible. So we actually have a phrase: we reverse the irreversible. So even if someone's doctor has told them, you can't reverse your kidney failure, your liver failure, you can't reverse this or that, or you're always going to be on that box of medication, it is reversible. And whatever they have, it's bringing real hope to people. So there's so many programs out there. I call it false hope for sale. All these slick marketers, right? They're marketing all their, pills and programs, but it's just false hope. And I know, because I was buying that stuff for 10 years when I was in pain, and none of it was sustainable. It wasn't real. But I spent thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on all that stuff. And so, but I am telling you for a fact, and I would tell anybody, and I do every day, anyone can reverse whatever illness or disease they have. They really can get back full health, full vitality. I haven't had a medical doctor visit for 27 years. Not one day of medical illness where I had, not one. And I have full vitality and full strength. And guess what? I'm a senior citizen. I'm 63 years old. And people meet me, they think I'm 20 years younger than I am. And I'm all natural, No surgery, no testosterone, no HGH, nothing, all natural. And that's what everyone can have.
Wow, that is a testimony right there. And I would say that is absolutely what must make Energized Health different from other health and wellness programs that people have done that weren't able to stick with it or just didn't give enough benefits. I mean, this is the reason why this is so different.
Yeah, and a huge part that the cellular trauma plays is, you've heard of yo-yo dieters or people, they just have trouble staying on track. So they might get healthy and then fall, healthy, fall, and they do this yo-yo thing. Well, there's a lot of science that supports that there's a mindset, correction that needs to take place there. So that's a big part of what our protocol also is. It's really a mind, body, spirit alignment, healing. We call it holistic health with WHOLE, to make the mind, body, and spirit whole. And so, for John and I, our biggest passion, especially, in the senior citizen community, is, quality of life. We have seen firsthand people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s completely reverse what they were dealing with, get off medications. But the biggest thing is their quality of life. Their vitality and their energy comes back. They're completely unrecognizable by their family, and they have passion to live life again. Instead of surviving, they're really thriving. And that's a big passion for John and I.
I love that. It was some very interesting information. I love your guys' backstory that you've created together, and I look forward to hearing and learning so much more about Energized Health. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay with us, because we will be back with more of This Day right after this. Welcome back to This Day. Joining me now is Latifa Taramina with Concerned Citizens. Welcome. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
And so just quickly, you said you have a birthday coming up. You're going to be
90.
90. That's incredible. You have so much energy and so much spunk, and you look amazing. So good for you.
Thank you.
Goals for life. Absolutely.
We'll keep busy.
Yes. So tell me, why is it important for you to be involved in this club with Concerned Citizens?
Well, what got me into it is they had a talk some year when I first arrived here in 2016, I think it was. I wasn't sure what I would be doing here, and I knew they had clubs. I was trying to get my feet on the ground, like, where am I here? And they had an event where they brought in a speaker about peace or something, and I thought, oh, because I had been involved with Peace Day stuff, I thought maybe they would be interested in doing a Peace Day event. And so I went and talked with the people then on the board. Margaret Perlman was one of them. We met in her house, and I talked about what I had done in Austin years ago, at the Poems for Peace, and a Peace Day program that built the Poems for Peace in Austin led to a big community-wide celebration called Peace Day Austin. And so this was the idea of how would we do a Peace Day Laguna Woods? And could we start that with a celebration on Peace Day? And they liked the idea. And then I had also spoken with, because what we had done included performances, Carol Glenn, who does the old prose. Because I'm a theater person, so I'd gotten in touch with her. So I thought, oh, maybe we can all work together with the old prose and the Concerned Citizens. We could build a Peace Day celebration. So we did our first Peace Day celebration under the Concerned Citizens sponsorship, but in partnership with the Old Pros and other organizations here. And that was done in Clubhouse 1, I guess, years ago, in 2019, whenever it was that I first got here. That was the first Poems for Peace we did. And then we had to do it again the following, so it began a tradition.
So it's every year now?
Every year.
It's an annual event?
There's an annual celebration of Peace Day. But this is the first year that we've been able to get a clubhouse on Peace Day. We never could get our date on the actual Peace Day. So this one is. So it calls for a big celebration.
What is the background with Peace Day? Like, how far wide and reaching is it?
Well, I got involved with Peace Day quite by accident. Back when I was still running this art service organization in Austin, the Austin Creative Alliance, I'm at home looking around on my computer, and I see this story about peace one day, and a man named Jeremy Gilley in England, who was inviting NGOs to be a part of what he had done, and the story of how he got the UN to fix a date. Like, he was the one. The UN had a peace day starting in the 80s, 1982 or something, but it was like the second Tuesday in September or something. It didn't have a fixed date. Gilead had an experience of taking medicines to people in Afghanistan, and it took them forever to negotiate a truce along a 4-hour drive. You know, it took them months to get nobody to attack them while they were driving to deliver the medicines. And that was like, what if there was one day when everybody could lay down their arms? One day of no fighting. And he started lobbying for that. But to do that, you had to have a fixed calendar date. So he finally got the UN and Dalai Lama and all kinds of people behind him. And in 2000, like September 7, 2001, the UN voted, yes, we'll make Peace Day 21 September every year. And they announced they'd hold a press conference in the next 4 days, and Kofi Annan would come down and ring the peace bell and announce this to the press. So 4 days later, Gilly is standing outside waiting for Kofi Annan to come ring the peace bell and make the announcement with other people. He's standing there, and 2 planes flew into the Twin Towers, and everybody had to run for their lives. But he didn't give up. He went back. He thought, we've got it. We've got peace one day. He went back and started to build his program. That's what turned me on, that he didn't quit, that he kept going with his dream, with his vision, that we have to keep going with these things. And when I read his story, he was inviting anyone who was involved with an NGO anywhere in the world to link with Peace One Day in the UK and be affiliated with their program. So, you know, if you're that, click here. Well, I was working with this little NGO, Sika, and I clicked on the button, and it said, what will you do? Here's a form you have to fill out. So I'm filling out the form, and it says, what will you do for Peace Day? And Poems for Peace popped into my head, so I put it down. The next day, I had all this material from Gilly, all this marketing material I could use, all these things I could say, we're affiliated with this, and here's the label, and here. It suddenly made us part of an international movement overnight. And on top of that, I had a special link that I could give to all our participants to his closing concert that he was going to do in UK. Who was doing the closing concert? Elton John. So suddenly, I have this backing of Peace One Day and Gilly, and Sika's, you know, our initiative is part of that, and Elton John. My goodness. So now I'm empowered. Well, I had this arts organization. I knew the creative community, so I called a friend of mine who was a director. He was the one that did the column everybody read about what was going on in the Austin Chronicle, the weekly paper that went out that had all the art stuff in it. And he was a director. I told him, and he said, oh, that's a lovely idea. So he organized the program. I had nothing to do with what he did was very smart. He picked 6 people. One was a poet, and the others were actors to read. He told them all he wanted 10 minutes of poetry. He didn't know what they were going to do. I had links to the Performing Arts Center, and I could get the little theater to use. And I had because of what I did, I knew how to get grant money to support them so they could get paid something. And it just all kind of fell together. I didn't know what they were going to do till the day they did it. He didn't know what they were going to do either. But he was 6 people, 10 minutes, it's an hour. I mean, then with applause, it's a little bit longer. It was just.
And were the poets? Was
one
it
was
about
one was a
peace?
real poet,
Okay.
and 5 were actors.
Okay.
Who all picked 10 minutes worth of poetry. Okay. The local poet read his own poems, and it just clicked. It just and part of it, because everybody was doing this. At the last minute, I had this feeling. But what about, you know, the group that's producing this Sika thing? What are we? Because I was the only one involved. And I thought, well, one of our values is like love and respect. So full of this feeling of love and respect. On the way to the theater, I got flowers and goodies for the actors backstage and things like that. And I just had this feeling, and I was sitting in the audience. But afterwards, people came up and they said, what is this? Who are you? So they were touched, so that got me. Then
Yeah.
I was doing it all the time. Oh,
So-
yeah, there's one other thing we did when we started, and I brought this. We did this. This was our logo, and we
Homes
launched
for
this
Peace. And this was back in
contest.
2012.
This was back in 2012, and we launched a poetry contest. This was a bookmark, and we sent this all over the country to bookstores and had people. We offered a $500 prize, and a guy who had a magazine said he would publish the 2 top people. So some guy in Arizona or New Mexico got the prize. I never knew who he was. And
You
another.
perhaps launched some careers that day as
Who
well.
knows?
That's exciting. So
But that was how we had started it all.
this is so exciting, and you're hosting a special Peace Day event. We don't have a ton of time left, but tell us about this event that is going to come up here in Laguna Woods.
It's going to be on Peace Day, and it's going to be in Clubhouse 7, and it starts in the afternoon. And we have the Old Pros again is involved in organizing the what's on stage, but what's on stage are people doing poems. And so some are actors doing poems, and some are real poets in our community doing their poems. And then we have 2 guest poets coming from out of town. One is named Emmanuel Williams. He's been considered a California performance poet. He's British. He has a very outgoing way. I can't imagine him doing anything that doesn't engage the audience like that. And the other poet is an Iranian poet who's a friend of one of my friends who lives up in Northern California, Ruja Mohassesi. And she has a book out. She's been interviewed on NPR. She's really quite, and she does not wear a hijab. She's not into any of that. She's against all, she left when the Shah fell and all that. She left Iran. And so she has friends in Long Beach, and she will be here so she said she would be happy to come. So those are our
wonderful.
guest poets.
Oh,
And then, so
love
what's happening, we open, it begins at 3 o'clock and the doors will open at 2:30.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we have a mingle. We're calling it a mingle where we open up the room adjacent to where we'll be performing for a wine and cheese party. The poets will be able to sell their books and sign their books there. There will be food for everybody. Everybody can talk and have a good time with everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you, Latifah, for being here today and giving us all this information. This sounds like such a wonderful event.
Is.
Just to recap, this is the annual International Day of Peace featuring Poems for Peace. This Thursday, September 21st at 3 p.m. And this will be in Clubhouse 7. This event is free, so please bring a friend. Let's take a look at the weather for today. It's starting to clear off, a little bit cloudy this morning, but we will definitely have some sunshine this afternoon. We'll have a high of 77, low of 62. The marine layer will continue this week, but each day it'll be mostly sunny after the fog clears. Thursday, high of 77, low of 59. Morning clouds on Friday with high of 76. And then the weekend looks to continue the same pattern of fog and clouds in the morning, and then sunny with temperatures in the low to mid 70s. And taking a look ahead on this day, tomorrow we will have the Golden Rain Foundation update. That's it for us here today. Be sure to check us out again at 12:30 and 5 p.m. or anytime on Village Television's YouTube channel. For This Day, I'm Bobby Higgins. Have a great day, everyone.